Alright, so here I am with the Hover Air X1 Pro Max, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to operate it using the manual control on the X1 app. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that all of your app permissions are set. So for example, I have Bluetooth on. You have to have that on. I have it on airplane mode so that no network creates any interference. I recommend that you don't need to have your network on for this, as it does create interference. Your privacy and security, you want to have that on. You also want to go into the app itself and make sure you have the Bluetooth, your local network connected, and if you plan to record audio, then have that connected as well. I'm not going to turn that option on because I'm not recording audio from the Hover. I'm recording it from a different device. So anyway, let's go into the app itself. You want to open the app. Alright, so you connect it. It gives you a message about the Omni terrain, and as you can see on the upper left, it says Omni terrain activated. So the Omni terrain is activated, so that means it's sort of like a location based, what they call location fusion, and to me it's just basically GPS, and that allows you to go over water and over cliffs and stuff like that. Anyway, let's go back into the manual control here. So on the bottom you have your smart preview and you have the manual control. So we're going to be looking at the manual control. Tap on that. Now it's going to prompt you to connect to the Hover's Wi-Fi. Click join, and you just wait for a couple of seconds. They recommend staying at least 5 meters away, but I'm like 2 meters away from it. So alright, so now we're in the app. The first thing we're going to look at is the Omni terrain icon, which is on the upper right corner. As you see, it's highlighted in green. That means it's connected. Next to it is the joystick, virtual joystick icon. Once you change to the actual beacon joystick, it'll change icons. You have your battery icon and you have the gear wheel, which we're going to look at now. On the other side, you have the manual settings. If you click on that, you can change the manual settings. As you can see, goes brighter, lower. I'm going to keep it all at auto, but yeah, you have that. Now these manual settings work best with the ND filter kit, which I do not own. Hopefully I'll order a pair soon. What else? On the bottom you have your telemetry, and on the bottom of that is the return to home, and that doesn't become active until you're in the air. Also, you have your joystick options here, and I'll show you that in a bit. Then you have your gimbal wheel, and that doesn't work until you are up in the air as well. You have your photo button, and you have a video button, and you can toggle between those two whenever you want. So let's go into the gear wheel and see what we have. You have the flight settings. I have it on joystick, but if I put it on directional buttons, you'll see that it changes to the directional buttons. This is a little bit more simple and basic for a beginner, but if you want a little bit more responsive action, then I recommend joystick. On the bottom of that, you have the control direction. I have it towards the outside, and you can also put it towards me. And that I recommend keep it on the outside if you're going to use manual control, but to each his own. Moving on to the camera settings, you have the shooting mode. You have normal, HDR, and slow-mo. If I click the HDR, you see it changes a bit. It looks like a what do you call it, like an H-log of some sort, which is great for color editing. Go back to that. You have your slow motion, which turns it into 120 frames per second. And you have your hover cine, which is sort of like HDR. I haven't tried these out yet, but I'm showing them here now. I'm going to put it back at standard, normal. You have vertical shooting. So if you click that on, it goes into the vertical shooting mode, and that's great for, social media. If you want to upload it quickly to Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, whatever. Turn that off. You have a zoom function. You have ×2. So it's going to switch. All right, so I have it at ×2. And if I put it at 1, it'll go back again to where it was at by default. You have resolution rates. You have 1080p, you have 4K, 8K, and the frame rates, you have 24, 25, 30, 60, 50, and 60 frames per second. I'm going to keep it at 30 frames per second for now. Your video encoding, you have H.265, which is a newer codec. It actually does a great job compressing the video and gives you a smaller file, but not all systems can handle it. So I'm going to keep it at H.264 for the sake of this video. You have your video filters. You have standard, soft, and if you click on soft, that's self-explanatory. It just creates a softer image, less sharp. And then you have a vivid, which is more of a colorful, saturated image. The bottom of that, you have your auxiliary line, you have your golden ratio, the 3x3 grid, which is what I like, and you have a cross grid. And you can turn that off if you want, but I'm going to leave it at 3x3 grid. Then you have your countdown. So I have it off. If you have the voice settings and you turn it on to 3 seconds, then you'll hear the countdown before you take off. You hear the automated voice that comes out of the speaker of the hover. All right, moving on to the joysticks. Here is interesting because now you can change the parameters of the joysticks. You can make it more responsive and more sensitive to your input. Here on the top, let me go all the way to the top. So here you have your safety settings. This is the return to home. So if you lose connection, it says hover's behavior after losing connection with the hover. So if you lose connection, it'll return to home, or you can leave it in hover where it'll just hover in place. So that's up to you. Now the return to home height, if you're flying around high obstacles, make sure that you set it to the highest point. Under that, I have it at 30. Horizontal speeds, vertical speed, rotational speed, and pitch speed. Sorry, I've already went into these settings and set it up how I like it. So, again, each one his own. Whoever wants to, play with those settings, you can do that here and set it to your liking. I like it more, cinematic. So I like it to fly slower. I like it the pitch speed to go slow, the throttle speed slower, and also the yaw. So yeah, that's basically it. And that's all. I think I've covered that. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go into the field, take it up for a quick spin, and show you guys how it performs. Alright, so unfortunately I thought I'd have the sound recording on to record while in manual control, but I didn't have that activated, so I'm just going to be narrating over the footage here. So now I'm connecting the Hover Air X1 Pro Max via the Wi-Fi. Alright, so now we're in manual control. As you see on the top right corner, the Omni Terrain is activated. Now we're moving to the field a bit, checking the settings. So again, you see the Omni Terrain, it just went into search mode, and now it's activated again. So you want to make sure that the Omni Terrain is fully activated before you take off. So just make sure that that is fully green, the icon, and you can take off. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and push forward here. As you can see, I'm pitching forward slowly while pushing the throttle up very slowly. As I mentioned before, I changed the joystick settings so they're much smoother. I like to get that cinematic feel. But again, you can change that in the settings to whatever you want. So what I wanted to do here was just take it out really quick for a short flight here. I didn't want to take it out too far because I just don't trust the whole Wi-Fi signal just coming off of my phone. Maybe with the beacon and joystick combo that would be great, but yeah, it is what it is. Alright, so I'm pitching forward, as you can see, and I'm at 105 meters, now at 113, 115, and I stop around 121. So now I started yawing to the left, and as you saw, it started giving me that wheel of death, as they call it. But yeah, it started getting signal interference, and I lost the image feed there. So at this point, I'm just like trying to bring it back. I'm still having shoddy signal. And as you can see, the screen around the edges is like a lot of interference there. So yeah, now I'm yawing it to the right, and I just decided to bring it back in. So yeah, 121 meters is the distance that I went, and like I said, I just wanted to test it out for the first time. I didn't want to go the distance with it, and as you can see, it still has a little shoddy signal. You see that? So at this point, I just decided to just bring it down because I just didn't feel comfortable taking it out further. Now the joysticks, the virtual joysticks that is, they're pretty nice and responsive. I like that. The directional pads are a little bit more for a beginner, but if you want to try to do like an orbit, which is what I'm going to try to do now, you might want to have it in the virtual joystick mode. So right here is this, I wanted to try to do a manual orbit to see if I get it to work. As you can see, the gimbal wheel, I'm scrolling on that down, and now the gimbal is moving. When it's landed, the gimbal wheel cannot be used. So still getting some shoddy interference in the image feed. So now I'm going to try to do an orbit manually. As you can see, I'm pushing left on the yaw. I'm sorry, rolling left and right on the yaw to do a manual orbit, and it just is not working out. And at this point, I just decided to just like give it up. Then after this, I wanted to test out the return to home feature, so that's what we're going to see next. Like I said, I wanted to check the return to home feature, and in the safety settings, I went to return to home height, and I lowered it to 10 meters. I just want to do, for the sake of this video, just try it out for the first time. I didn't want to put a higher height and then risk it colliding into a tree or something. Yeah, so here I am taking it out a little bit. I believe I take it out up to, 25 meters or so. Can't remember. Actually, I took it out further, 38 meters to be exact. And now I'm going to go into return to home. I have it set to 10 meters, as you saw. So now it raises up, as you can see on the left hand corner. It rises up to the 10 meters, and then it hauls ass. It reaches 7 meters per second. At one point I was kind of concerned. I thought it was just going to fly by and crash into the tree, but it didn't, so that was a good thing. Now next, I just wanted to get a shot from a higher height, so I decided to just put it full throttle up and make it go up above the tree lines. That's basically it. So anyway, thanks so much, you guys, for tuning in. If you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe if you haven't, and yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll leave you guys with the rest of the footage that I filmed, so you guys can enjoy it, and just leave your comments in the comment section below. Alright, you guys have a nice one, and God bless.